board gamers, and welcome back to Not Board Gaming. I'm your host, I'm Mark. Now in today's very special episode, we're going to be previewing a game which comes to Kickstarter on the 11th of May. From the wonderful people at Mighty Boards, I bring you Vengeance, Roll and Fight. Designed by David Turczi, Noralie, Lubbers and Calleja, and it's set in the Vengeance world as well. Now, of course, this is a prototype, so the artwork and the components are not by any means the finished artwork and components on here. But the aim of the video is just to give you a brief overview on how this really fast-paced, action-packed game works. Now, as the name suggests, Vengeance Roll and Fight is in fact a roll and write set in the Vengeance universe, and it is playable from 1 to 4 players. That's right, you can play this solo as well, and it has eminent amounts of replayability because you get a various number of boards that you can play your adventures on. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves there. What exactly is Vengeance Roll and Fight? Vengeance Roll and Fight really does reimagine the whole roll and write genre for the better. You see, you are going to play one of 4 characters, be that Calleja, be that Little Gudrun, be that Shadow Man, or even Johnny Silverhands, and you're going to take on various bosses in various kind of scenarios and settings as you try to kill all the bad guys and the minions using your dice, and then ultimately try and kill the boss. And there are 8 in this prototype, and there may be more coming through, I don't know, 8 dual-sided boards that you're going to play on, and you're going to put your figures on one part of the board, and using dice you're going to move through the board, you're going to hit, you're going to punch, you're going to roll, you're going to shoot, you're going to use your special abilities to try and kill as many bad guys as quickly as possible in this den, collect as much loot as you can, try and upgrade your abilities, and eventually get to the big boss so you can defeat the big boss, and each big boss operates in a different way. It's a 20-minute game that is just an utter joy to play. Setting up the game is an absolute breeze. Each character will have, or each player will have, one of these character boards, and at the top are the standard abilities that every character has, and you have to roll, as you can see on there are some kind of icons on there, and you have to roll the right number of dice with those icons to actually activate that particular ability there. Then you have your health bar, and of course that will either increase or decrease as the game goes on. Then you have your prestige track, so as you collect various items of loot, you can up on the prestige track. That will give you some endgame points, or maybe you're going to use it to buy and help you buy certain abilities. Then we have items here, and each character has their own set of 4 items. So you will kind of shuffle those items, place them onto the board, and that will dictate how many which items you can use and how many uses you can have. Then down the bottom here are your upgraded abilities down here. And what that is, throughout the game, you get the ability to potentially get some experience points. And when you get experience points, you can spend them on your character's own set of abilities, therefore upgrading your character as it goes through the game. So as well as picking and choosing a character, be that Calleja, Johnny Silverhands, Little Gudrun, or the Shadow Man, you're then also going to pick one of the 8 kind of scenarios, the kind of levels that you can play on, and these are all kind of different. The levels are all different. You will start off in this top corner, well, in where the start icon is, and the aim of the game is to try and clear as many of the bad guys as the goal wants you to, and get through to the big boss and try and defeat the big boss at the end of the game. And I'd say it takes about 20 minutes to do that. Say there are 8 of these, and then there are also 4 bosses you can fight against as well. So the bosses come in the form of, we have Il Barone, Don Zeman, Rook the Bear, and Banda Boy. So each boss is slightly asymmetrical and will offer different things, and the aim of the game, as I say, is to try and work your way through these levels, upgrading your character, rolling dice to move, to shoot, to hit, to punch, kill as many bad guys as you can, collect as much loot as you can, and kill the boss. Sounds like a lot to fit in a 20-minute game, but you know what? It absolutely works. So, to help you achieve your goal of defeating the boss and moving along the map and hitting and punching and shooting the bad guys on there, you're going to be aided by a number of dice, and each of these dice will offer a number of faces. On the faces, we have potentially a kind of knife symbol, which is useful if you want to hit people. We have a double knife symbol, which on some actions will act as 2 hits. We have a gun symbol, which will help if you want to shoot people, and we also have kind of a character running, and that's a move symbol. Mixing and matching these various symbols will then allow you to open up the abilities and carry out the actions that you unlock on there. There is also one other face on the die, and you can see that we have this kind of blood symbol here, just here. And if you get that, that can actually gum up your kind of die rolls, and it can also go onto your health track and start knocking away your health as well. And that's really important. As I say, each game takes about 20 minutes, and kind of maximising the moves that you've got and upgrading your character and trying to minimise the impact that health has on you is a really key element in this. Helping you on your way at the beginning of each round, you will roll the 3 preparation dice. And these dice have different symbols on there which kind of give you a bit of a boon as you go through it. Maybe you're going to get the kind of loot symbol, which is this kind of diamond here, and that you can use to increase your loot or use it as any other action. Or maybe it's going to be the experience one, and that will move you up the experience track. Or the health one, which will allow you to obviously build back your health. You also have research on there, you have the items on there, so things you can kind of use your items or use your abilities in a way. So you get to roll those 3 dice and take a 4th action as well on the preparation stage, and that's kind of the montage stage. So imagine that's a training stage in an action film. You're kind of building up your character, you're getting ready, they're starting to power weapons up. That's exactly what this is. This is the montage stage, getting ready to go to battle. Then what happens is you're going to move on to the main event and the main round, the main part of the round, and there are only 4 rounds in each game. That's right, it's 4 rounds, so it's kind of time limited there. And this is where you're going to start kind of rolling the pool of dice that you have, and we'll talk about the pool of dice in a second, how that works, and moving your character from room to room, trying to kill as many bad guys as you can to achieve the end goal and to get to the big bad boss. So I've talked about the dice, and this is kind of the crux of the main part of the game. We've gone through the montage round, we've done a little bit of preparation, we've maybe equipped some stuff or some abilities for our character. Then it comes to the crux of the game, the kind of main part of the game, where you need to roll dice. You see, as we're moving from room to room, and you can see we're going to start here where this symbol is on this particular map here, which says start. You're going to move from room to room, and in each room there are a number of bad guys. There are a number of grunts in there, so maybe it's the one that's just in the black circle is a grunt, and you've got to eliminate those before you eliminate the boss in the same room. Then the ones in red are henchmen, and these hit players in the same room at the end of the resolution phase. Then there is the gunman, which is the one in blue, and if you're in either the same room or an adjacent room at the end of the resolution phase, and we'll talk about that in a sec, then they're going to hit you. Then we have the tough guy, and he's in green, he's going to take 2 hits there, basically, to kill. And then in yellow, down here, we have the blocker, and you can't move beyond a room until you've killed that blocker. So your aim is to move through here, trying to maximise as much as you can, trying to kill as many bad guys as you can to get the various bonuses that are dotted around. Maybe to get the loot that's in there. Maybe you need to get the blocker or kill the blocker to move to the next room, or maybe you need to kill a gunman to make sure that he doesn't get you in the room after. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can only move, you can only hit, you can only punch, you can only shoot, you can only do your abilities if you roll the correct combination of dice, and that's where these dice become really, really important. You see, you're going to start with a pool of dice, and depending on what level of difficulty you have, there are 2 factors in the solo game that are really important to you. It's your pool of dice timer that you're going to use to actually select those dice. A timer, you say? Huh? Where is it mentioned about a timer? You see, in the multiplayer game, everybody is going to start with the same pool of dice, and as you roll and start placing your dice, you then go back into that pool to try and grab new dice, because you can only roll 4 at any one time. So that die pool is ever decreasing in a multiplayer game. In the solo game, it's different. Of course, there is only 1 pool of dice, and you start with, on the easy mode, you will start with 20. So to simulate that kind of that decreasing die pool, if you like, from a multiplayer game, very cleverly, what the designers have done is put a timer mechanism in there. And on the easiest level, with 20 dice, you're going to start with 45 seconds. That's right, 45 seconds to roll 4 dice at a time to try and get the various combinations so you can make your moves. So as I say, if I was to wanted to make a move, which is a dash move here, at least 2 of my dice I place will have to have that run symbol on them. So if I roll 4 dice here, and let me see, oh, there we go, I've got 2 dice that have got a run symbol on them, there we go, so they can be placed there, and 2 die that have got a knife and a gun symbol. So then I pick up 2 more dice, and that's my 4, and I roll 4 dice again. And that's how you get the various combinations. You roll the dice, you get the combinations, you place them on there, and then you get back up to 4 dice again. So to kind of build that pressure up from a solo perspective, you've got got the timer, which is either 45 seconds or 30 seconds or 20 seconds, depending on which difficulty you've got. To add to that, if you roll a blood symbol, which is this drop of blood here, you can't re-roll that dice. You can re-roll any other dice except a blood die. So you've got two ways of getting rid of that. First of all, obviously, that prevents you then rolling 4 die. That means you can only roll 3 die. And on some of them, you actually need 4 die to activate that ability. So you want to find a way to get rid of that blood symbol. 2 ways. You can place it on your health track, and then when you get to the end of the die rolling phase, you remove that and that cross off 1 health on there. Or if you then successfully roll a combination that you want and you place those die, you can then take one of those blood symbol dies and roll them. However, as you can imagine, it's very possible to roll more than 1 blood symbol die. So you've got this dynamic strategy coming at you all the time, managing your health through these blood symbols that are on the die, but also, you're trying to roll particular combinations to activate your abilities. What if you don't get that combination? Are you then going to change and go for another combination? So maybe, I've got my rune, so I can move from one rune to the next, but maybe I was going to punch somebody and I'm just not getting the knife rolls, but I am getting gun rolls. Do I then put it on there? Do I then put my dice on there for the gun rolls? Because I've only got 45 seconds. This timer is ticking and ticking and ticking. Suddenly, you can see that this is a really, really exciting game. I have 4 rounds to get round this entire den, to kill as many bad guys as I can, to collect as much loot as I can, to upgrade my character as much as possible, so that when I get to the big bad boss, I can defeat him. And the only way I can do that is by effectively managing this pool of dice, of which there are only 20 in the easy version of the game, during my 4 45-second rolling periods that I've got. That is just absolute genius. So, I think it's probably prudent now to go through 1 round and show you exactly how exciting Vengeance Roll and Fight actually is. So we have Calleja set up on round 2 here. So she had round number 1, I'd say there were only 4 rounds, and she didn't do particularly well. In fact, her dice rolls were terrible. She moved into 1 room and she managed to kill 1 bad guy. Nothing else really worked out for her. And because of her special ability here, and each character's got its own special ability. When I say special ability, they're generally a little bit negative. It says beginning the 1st and 4th rounds montage, take a wound. Well, in the 1st round, the montage is the preparation stage. Calleja took a wound, and unfortunately we haven't managed to recover from that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the montage. And as I say, this is the training roll, if you like, the preparation action. So we roll the 3 dice here. And what have we got? We have XP, we have research, and we have another research. So that's good. We get to actually do something here. So first of all, on XP. In the 1st round, Calleja managed to get 3 XP, so that's all right. And she's unlocked a particular ability here, which is the reverse blade. Okay, so Calleja is now going to use that XP and get, as you can see, 1 XP point is 2 more. So what you do is you draw a circle there. You don't fill it in until you spend it. That means Calleja's got 2 XP. We've also got 2 research actions there as well. What these research actions do, you can see at the top of some of these abilities, we have these little chevrons, and what they mean is you can use those to activate those, and that gives you them free if you like. So if we got here, this ability is a hit and hit reverse blade. So if I wanted to get that in game, I'd have to roll 2 double dice, which is kind of difficult to do. So I'm going to spend my 2 research actions there to mark that off, and that means I get 1 time to do that in the game. So I don't have to worry about trying to roll that particular move. I've got that move. So the next thing I'm going to do is, so that's those dice done. You also get a 4th action to do in your montage stage. And here we go. We have a health, we have a research, we have a double experience to build up, or we have some items that we can buy. So experience, I've already bought some and I've only got 2 there. I could get 2 more and then potentially go through Calleja's other kind of abilities and see if I can pick some of those off. But I think I'm going to buy an item, and this gives me 1 to use here. So that's a knuckle duster. I get to put a circle around one of these. It means I can use it. So I can do a heal and heal here. So that's what I'll do. I'll put the little square around that, and that means if I take some more damage, I can use that ability to heal. Okay, so that's a preparation. That's a montage phase done. We're rolling through now. So next thing is going to be the 45-second die rolling phase, and this is where it starts to get really exciting. As we can see, I'll lay the meeple down. Calleja is just here. And what I need to do is I need to try and get around, build up enough experience so I can get around to the boss and battle the boss, okay? So what do I need to do? I certainly need to kill the rest of the people in here. 1 hit equals 1 kill unless it's green. I can't move on from this room, of course, because there is a yellow blocker in there. That means I cannot move out of that zone with a yellow blocker in there. And the red guy, as of course, also means that I'm going to take damage at the end of my turn. So I just need to kind of be aware of that and think, right, what I've got to do. So I've certainly got to kill that yellow blocker, that's fine. And I maybe want to come down here and kill the green guy, or try and get the green guy, because if I'm taking on Vuk the bear, I'm taking on Vuk the bear, then during the evaluation, Vuk the bear deals 1 wound to each adjacent rooms and 2 wounds to his own. Okay, so if I'm in the same room as him or adjacent to him, I'm going to get some wounds. So my aim is to try and kill as many people in here, and I think I will move. You see, yeah, I could move through there. In fact, I think I'm going to have to move through there to have a chance of getting up to Vuk the bear by the end of the 4th round. If I go down here, because I had such a lousy first round, it's going to take too long. So I need to roll some dice to get hit. I've got this ability, which means I've got 2 hits, so I don't have to worry about that. That's a move and hit. That's a shot, allows me to kill bad guys in the next room. And that is a move as well, so I'm definitely going to need some moves. I've got 45 seconds to do it, 4 dice at a time. So here we go. I've got my timer set here. I'm going to set that going and we shall see. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I've got a couple of move dice there, that's good. The other 2 dice, that's fine, I can do that. So I've got at least 1 move, and you can double up on things as well. Oh, this is working out well. See, I got some hit there, so I got another hit there, so that's good. And I've got 1 more dice there, so back into 4. You can see I've always got 4. We've got a blood, that was a blood symbol, so I can't do anything with that. I've got 2 guns and a charge. You can see there, I can get 2 guns and a knife, then I could do that. So I can re-roll this one again. Let's see, there we go, I can do that. You can use knives, double knife symbols as a single. That's right, and I can get to re-roll this because I've placed that down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 8 seconds left. Oh, another blood symbol. There we go, I'll re-roll those because I think I might want to move again. Oh, another blood symbol. Let's do that. Oh, that's the timer done. There we go. I can keep rolling the ones that I've got just to see. So just let's stop the timer. I want to see if yep, there we go. I managed to get 2 runs. So that's not bad. Those 2 blood symbols are okay because I didn't have to gum up my hand using them. So if we look at what I can do now, I can do 2 moves. I can do 2 hits in one room. I can do 1 hit in the same room and shoot in the next room. So this is good. Here's what we'll do, right? So first of all, I'm going to use these 2 hits down here as this ability. The simple thing is you just cross off the bad guys. So we'll take those 2 guys to start off with. Now, I can move out of this room if I wanted to because the blocker's gone. But you know what I'm going to do? So that's that one done. Is what else can I do? Actually, no, I am going to move into the next room and maybe I'll shoot back in that room as well. So there we go. We'll use one of these moves. So there we go. We'll move into that room. And we have a green guy, which is the tough guy, and he's going to take 2 hits. And that's okay because I can use this here. You see that? 2 knife symbols and then a double knife symbol. And that says if one of them is a double knife symbol, it's a double punch, double hit. So I can use that to knock off this guy, yeah? And I've still got a shot here. So that shot allows me to then fire into an adjacent room. And if I look here, I've got this guy here, this henchman over here, this blue one, and this henchman over here, another blue one, one down here as well. So I'm going to get stunned basically at the end of this round in terms of who's going to hit me in here. So I need to take out one of those henchmen. That's what I'm going to do. I'll use those dice to take out one of the henchmen there. I've got 1 move left. This is difficult. Do I stay in this room or do I move into the room with a henchman? If I moved back here, that's okay. Because then the henchman can't get me. But no, let's move into this room just here. That's there. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to use this heal ability here and get rid of my heal. So that's the end of my action round there, and that's where we've got to. So now we've had the kind of montage phase. We've had the action phase where the action's taken place. You've seen it roll against the timer. You've seen what you have to do with dice placement. You've seen how I've moved through the map and I've got people, I'll kill people and move through. Oh man, look at that. If I'd killed the other henchman there, I'd get 2 of these jewels here, which I could use on my prestige track. So now we're through to the resolution stage, and this is where we start adding up the damage that's available. So the rules say that I will receive 1 wound for each henchman or boss that's in my room, and also 1 wound for each gunman that's either in my room or in a room adjacent to me. So if we look here, I don't have any henchmen. Henchmen are the ones in red. There's the blocker, which means I can't move out this room until I've killed him, so next round. But I do have a gunman. So there we go. I'm going to knock off 1 health because he's in that room. If I look at the other adjacent rooms, there's no gunmen in an adjacent room to me, so there's no other shots to take. But then, if the boss would have been in my room, I would have been killed. I would have had another hit as well. However, if we look at Vuk the Bear's ability, it says here, during evaluation, which is the resolution stage, Vuk the Bear deals 1 wound to adjacent rooms and 2 wounds to his own. So had I not killed him, and I was in that room, I would have received 2 wounds and knocked my health track down. I'm in the room next to him, I'm going to take the adjacent room, therefore I'm going to take a damage. So you can see, I only have 1 health left. Now, I'm rather glad that I use that heal ability, which means that my health is there. I've got the ability to heal a couple of health on my next kind of montage phase. However, had I not kind of done that ability, and that would have happened, and I've knocked off all my 3 health, what would have happened? Well, rather cleverly, what happens is you take a beating. So you start the game with the ability to use 4 dice. However, if your health track becomes full and you haven't extended it, then what happens is you're going to cross off, you take your first beating, you're going to cross off that there and reset your health there. So you now have 3 health, but I can only roll 3 dice on the rolling phase now. So rather than rolling 4 dice, I can only roll 3 dice. And that means that potentially some of these abilities I cannot do because you have to place all the dice at the same time. So here, I would have to place 4 dice. I can only ever roll 3 dice now. That means I can never do the charge move again while the game plays. Isn't that a fantastic kind of mechanism to stick in there to add further tension to you? And of course, once your health's been kind of knocked out again, and you take a beating for the second time, that's it, you lose, that's game over. And that's what you will do. You will go through the kind of the montage phase, you will go through your rolling phase, you will go through your fighting phase, and then your resolution phase, and then you'll move into the next round. And as I say, you've got 4 rounds to achieve the objectives. And there we go, guys. That is kind of the crux of the game. As I say, you're going to do that over 4 rounds and hopefully get to the big bad where you can defeat the big bad and complete the goals that are set out there. I think it is just a pure joy to play. Setup takes no time at all. It's so easy to set up. It plays so very, very, very fast, and it plays very, very exciting. It is the epitome almost of condensing an action movie down to its action parts in a 20-minute sequence. It's so much fun kind of changing your tactics on the fly as the dice aren't rolling in the way that you want them to do to give you the abilities that you need, as you're kind of moving around to the different rooms trying to avoid the various bosses' asymmetrical actions that will take place as well. Get to that end goal where you can defeat the boss and complete the goals of the game. It is so much fun, and that timer mechanism from somebody like myself who's not necessarily a fan of real-time games really does a fantastic job in simulating people reaching into the dice pool to grab those dice, and suddenly you find this timer element is just kind of, it's nail-biting as you're rolling and placing and rolling and putting stuff on your health track. It's so much fun, and to make it more interesting for yourself and more exciting for yourself, you can even reduce that timer and reduce the dice pool to make it more difficult as well. So it's just an absolute joy to play. I think that Vengeance Roll and Fight completely redefines the roll and write genre for the better. It's unlike anything I've played before in terms of a roll and write. It's got that real tactical feel of something like Street Masters, but combined with these unique abilities and a far more faster pace, if you like, to give that kind of action movie feel. So please, if the idea of chucking dice in the Vengeance world and fighting bad guys on a really kind of snappy, fast-paced action film basis appeals to you, then check out Vengeance Roll and Fight, coming to Kickstarter on the 11th of May. The link is going to be in the description below. And that's it. Thank you very much for joining me on this very special episode where we looked at Vengeance Roll and Fight. Thank you to the guys at Mighty Boards for sending me through the promo copy and the preview copy. I got to pass it on now to another reviewer, and I don't want to. It's mine. it's mine. It really is that good. I spent a lot of my waking time just thinking about how good this game is and how they managed to distill this kind of this wonderful thematic feeling of action, of shooting, of fighting, of moving around rooms into a 20-minute solo experience. I think it's just absolutely brilliant. So yes, thank you very much for joining me on this journey through Vengeance Roll and Fight by Mighty Boards. Check out the Kickstarter on May the 11th. My name's Mark. This is Not Board Gaming. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, check out our other videos, and one final thought: if you can't find anybody else to play with, there's nothing wrong with playing with yourselves. Until next time, bye bye.